Melissa, you're president of TTC Tour Brands. It's a really exciting role. It's a huge portfolio. It includes brands such as Trafalgar and Insight and Brendan Vacations and Contiki. How has the last 2 years been? Because it's been an absolutely traumatic period for travel and tourism worldwide.
It has. It's been very challenging. We spent the better part of 2020 servicing our guests and making sure that we really kept as many of their credits on file as possible so that they could take future vacations and really help protect both ourselves and our agent partners in terms of those forward bookings. But it was definitely a challenge across the board.
And was that what, were you successful in ensuring that sort of customers didn't leave you, but instead maybe reschedule to a future date?
Yeah, we were extremely successful. More than 75% of our guests kept a credit on file with us.
Right.
And we are in the midst now of working to get those guests rebooked. They have an opportunity to travel to any destination. They don't have to go to whichever trip they had booked previously and on any brand within the Travel Corporation portfolio. Right. But what we've noticed is that as the bookings have been coming back, they are overwhelmingly wanting to go back to the destination that they had originally booked.
Yeah.
And that's great news for Ireland because it has long been near the top of our list. And early in the pandemic, as we were doing consumer sentiment surveys, Ireland also came up very much on top of where people wanted to travel when the world opened up again. I think there was a great desire for the green, wide open spaces, for the fact that, Ireland was very, very cautious with the way that they handled the pandemic. And I think people felt like it would be a great, safe first destination internationally when the world opened up again.
Yeah. And of course, the Travel Corporation or TTC, as it's known, has a big footprint in Ireland. We all know Brendan Vacations, and of course, you have Ashford Castle, amongst others. What's 2022 looking like in terms of, bookings to Ireland or interest in Ireland? Is it, can we be cautiously optimistic?
I think we can. 2022 was looking very strong at the end of Q3 last year. And then, of course, we had Omicron hit in what would normally be our very beginning of our peak booking period. So I think what we're going to find now is that most of the bookings that will be coming in for 2022 are going to be traveling during the summer months, and they'll be very condensed between the months of May and sort of early October. It is clear that the traveling public has decided that they're not going to commit to a vacation during the cooler months because there's a perceived, fear over the last 2 years that there will be another wave. And I don't think it's so much that they're concerned about becoming ill while they travel, but really more that their vacation may not get off the ground and they'll have to replan again, which of course we're all tired of rebooking. So, we're seeing a lot of demand for those summer months. And what that's leading to is other challenges with regards to capacity. It's leading to challenges across the board, both with us, with our travel agent partners, with our partners here on the ground in terms of just being able to handle that flood of demand that's coming in. And then once they get here, we all know that we restarted the industry very, very quickly. And we are not exactly where we were when we closed down in 2022. We're all facing staff shortages, and that includes the hotels. It includes us being able to get cars for our guests that do self-drive vacation. So there's a lot of crunch on capacity, and we're not really at this stage going to be able to meet the demand for summer, while at the same time, I'm a little bit concerned about winter.
Yeah, and that shorter, if you like, a busy period, but over a shorter few months. Do you think that's a 2022 phenomenon that might right itself in 2023? As once we get through one more COVID winter with hopefully no new nasty variants, will suddenly the longer tourism season kind of reoccur?
If we can get through the winter without another speed bump like Omicron, and I say that because Delta was very much somebody turned off the faucet again. Literally, we were starting to pick up steam, Delta hit, world shut down again. Omicron really was a speed bump, and we are already seeing the recovery very, very quickly from that. If we can make it through the 2022 winter season without any major speed bumps, I absolutely think 2023 is going to right itself. I think we'll be able to see guests spread out across the different months, which of course, that's what we all want in the industry. We want tourism to be sustainable year round. We want our partners to be able to count on that income coming in. So yes, I think so. I also think, if we get to the end of summer and there are better options in terms of antivirals or treatments once somebody does become ill, that make it so that we're confident that the world will not shut down again, I do think we could see some close-in booking patterns for winter, but I don't think we can count on that quite yet.
Yeah. And of course, no sooner is sort of the pandemic sort of behind us, then we have, the outbreak of hostilities in the Ukraine, which obviously is all kind of very grim viewing. But in the States, how is that being played out? Is that being played out? Our fear is that is being played out as sort of a war in Europe. Is that happening, or is there a little bit more confidence in the US market that Ireland is a million miles away?
I think there's definitely a little bit of that, but I don't think that it's pervasive at all. And I think, when guests or agents call us and they do have questions or concerns, we're, very able to explain to them the geography and where the war is actually happening. The larger concern for me is the greater impact on fuel is a really good example. And if the fuel prices are to go up significantly, that's going to impact all of our prices. It'll impact airfares, it'll impact fuel for coaches, cars, etc. I do think that it is going to cause further inflation of our prices. And I do think that could have a knock-on effect for sure.
And of course, you're speaking to us from the Brendan Vacations office on Marion Square, aren't you?
I am. I'm here for our annual training of our private chauffeurs and our local hosts and specialists. And it's very full circle. I was here 2 years ago, February, with Catherine and the amazing team here. And it was my last international trip before lockdown, and it is now my first international trip post-lockdown. And it was so great to be with the team yesterday. And of course, it was very emotional. Catherine speaking to all of our drivers and hosts of just about how fortunate we are to have made it through and to have them have stuck with us all the way through. And they are so looking forward to welcoming our guests back. And we're just so fortunate to have Catherine at the helm here. What's
the mood like amongst the Irish trade? They must be delighted that, there's business back on the books and a company like TTC is again sending business their way.
Yeah, I think the mood is very much the same on both sides of the Atlantic. We're all very happy to be challenged with different kinds of problems than we've had the last 2 years. So, but everybody, as I mentioned, I feel like we're all having the exact same challenges, whether that's getting enough people in our contact centers, or whether that's, getting enough people to work in the hotels. We're all in that same challenged situation for a number of reasons, some of them pandemic related, some of them not. And so we are all happy and feeling very optimistic about the summer season. And we're all challenged with being able to deliver on it.
Yeah. One of the good things, I suppose, about COVID, if you can say there was anything good about COVID, was that there was more of a spotlight on the tourism industry in Ireland, and the government here in Ireland did respond to give them their dues. And one of the things they did was increase the overseas marketing budget. So I know Tourism Ireland in the States have a significant bump in their marketing budget this year. Do you work closely with them on the ground in the States to to try and push the Irish message?
We work very closely with them. And I also sit on the US Partner Marketing Group in the US. And we have been extremely fortunate to be able to avail ourselves to the generosity of the funds that have come out of those different organizations, whether it be Tourism Ireland or Fáilte Ireland. And because of that, we have never slowed down in our messaging and marketing to the US consumer about travel to Ireland. And I think that has been hugely beneficial to us. We are definitely seeing the benefits of that now. We are seeing where people are coming in, and as I mentioned before, they're really seeing Ireland as a fantastic place to visit. And even though it has always been in our top, it is certainly outpacing where it has been previously. The other thing I would say is I think that the handling of, the spotlight, as you mentioned, on tourism in Ireland was unique in the global scheme of things. And it was absolutely something that we looked to as a benefit to us. Even the fact that your Minister of Tourism was one of the very first foreign officials that was visiting the US again, I believe, in November. That was a clear sign that Ireland was supporting our industry and that really was looking to welcome visitors back.
Yeah, great. And of course, with St. Patrick's Day coming up, and a president in the White House with strong Irish roots, hopefully we'll continue having the spotlight on Ireland. TTC, of course, is a family-run business, the wonderful Tolman family, and you've, I suppose, what's the word is, you've been very fond of Ireland, or the Tolman family have been very sort of generous to Ireland. I think there's a real genuine warmth to the country. And there's been significant investment over the years. I mean, the most obvious one, I suppose, is the wonderful 5-star Ashford Castle in Galway. Will that continue? Are there any kind of future plans that the Tolman family or TTC have for Ireland, or can you tell us?
I can, and yes, you're exactly right. They have a very strong connection to Ireland, and they pre-pandemic acquired a property here in Dublin, Hatch Hall, and we were in the midst of going through getting zoning and planning approval so that we can open a 5-star boutique hotel here in the heart of Dublin.
Super.
We have not completed all of our planning and zoning, but we are still going through that process. Clearly, things were slowed down during the pandemic. Nobody was really open. Construction couldn't happen anyway, even if we were. So that has since picked up again, and we are very much looking forward to adding another property to our portfolio.
Great. And that's just off Stephen's Green, so it'll be very central, and I'd say it'll be an absolutely glorious property when it opens.
Yeah, we walked past it yesterday, I think, and it's just such a magnificent building, and just so looking forward to getting it open and having guests there.
Great. Well, listen, Melissa, best of luck with the year ahead and future years, and best of luck with the role, because I know Ireland is only one angle of your portfolio, but it's obviously an important.
It is, but it is so near and dear to my heart. And as you and I were talking about off camera, I'm here for another week for my own personal vacation, because it really is, my home away from home.
Great. Thanks so much, Melissa.
Thank you.